Why do men act like this? My first boyfriend was 24 and I was 19. I, F25 now, F19 then, was naive, a virgin, and had never even been kissed, as I came from a more conservative church and always held traditional values, principles I still maintain today. I wasn't wealthy, but I came from a family with college-educated parents and grandparents. I had traveled internationally and was attending university. He seemed like the perfect guy. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, supposedly had only one girlfriend before me, and was a non-practicing Catholic. He was a good guy, no tattoos, no wild habits, a normal, good guy. He came from a somewhat broken family, had a stoned older brother, and poor financial conditions. He worked on the factory floor, grunt work, but was attending the same university we met at. Okay, we started dating. In short, we dated for about 3 years. The first year was great, that intense, cute phase. Since I had never experienced anything like it, I went crazy for him and was totally smitten. And I, like a good, overly devoted girlfriend, did everything to be the ideal partner. I bought a console so we could play together, learned to cook, and made cards, notes, and gifts every week. My salary at the time was the equivalent of about $100 a month internship, so I made it work however I could. He was neutral. Since I had no prior relationship benchmark, I thought the mere fact that he treated me nicely was a huge romantic gesture. He gave me a promise ring and some heart balloons the day he asked me out. And that was it. We split every bill for every outing. He never paid for anything. Even a simple ice cream cone from the fast food place was split 50-50. After 1 year of dating, my boyfriend graduated from college. He started working at a gym as a personal trainer. And that's when he started changing drastically. He suddenly turned into another person. He became increasingly vain, but colder and more distant with me. Truth be told, he had never done anything grand. As I said, he never even gifted me anything. But now it was worse. There were barely any hugs or kisses. He became overly friendly with the female students at the gym and only talked about them. I started to feel insufficient. The girls at the gym were beautiful, mature, attractive, and all graduated, earning much more than the mere intern here. They drove nice cars, had lash extensions, and beautiful hair. And I, the nerdy, thin, shy girl, was wearing sneakers with holes in them because my $100 salary went towards spoiling my boyfriend. One day, he broke up with me out of the blue, saying he didn't love me anymore. Sometime later, I found out he dumped me to be with one of the students. Because I had an absurd emotional dependency on him, after all, he was my first love, and I was the type of girl who thought dating was meant for marriage, I insisted, and even after much rejection, he agreed to take me back. Yes, I know, I'm embarrassed just remembering it. In this return, he faced a financial downturn. Being a gym instructor wasn't valued much where he lived, so he had to become a driver. He had to seek shelter at his best friend's house because his parents kicked him out. He got fully tattooed, started drinking and using drugs, and to this day, he creates new numbers and fake accounts to message me, even after I've been married for 4 years since our breakup. Initially, it was to try to win me back and send me chocolates. Then, since I wouldn't accept, he started sending me private photos of himself at parties, drinking, or having a good time to say he was over it. Later, he wrote messages saying he was rich now and had opened his own business. He always messages me from these fake accounts. It's always in a tone like, "Look how much better I am, how I'm better than you." I know it's not true. It's always a tone of self-promotion, perhaps to try to come out on top somehow. When I posted my wedding photos, he showed up again. Since my profile is public, professional, he said he was moved and that I was the most beautiful bride he had ever seen. Remember, none of this affects me anymore. I don't love him. I'm crazy about my husband.
But what gets to me is why men only start to value you after you've lost them. Why? Why does this happen? Why was I treated so poorly by this man, and today he does everything to get my attention? What are the reasons? I want to understand. I feel pity for him. I just wish he would disappear for good. The pain you feel now isn't about him. It's about a deeply unsatisfying psychological question. Why did he need to lose me to see my worth? The answer lies in two concepts: the scarcity principle and narcissistic injury. The scarcity principle, the loss. When you were dating him, you were abundant, always available, always giving, always prioritizing his needs above your own, and even financially supporting him. He never had to expend energy or effort, and thus he never had a chance to value you. When you finally left, you became scarce. Your true value wasn't recognized until it was taken away, and he could no longer take your presence for granted. The value he now assigns you is tied to the loss of control and the pain of the consequence of his actions, not necessarily your inner goodness. Narcissistic injury, the projection. Look at his current behavior, sending fake messages, bragging about non-existent wealth, and trying to one-up you. He is desperately trying to manage the narcissistic injury, the profound wound to his ego caused by your success and happiness, juxtaposed with his life spiraling downward. Your wedding photos didn't make him emotional. These served as a clear, public statement that you won the breakup, both personally and professionally. His incessant messaging isn't love. It's a desperate attempt to regain emotional leverage and prove that he is still the main character in your story, or at least that he is still better than you. Your pity is misplaced empathy. He doesn't need your pity. He needs to face the consequences of his own choices. Your strength came from leaving and building the life you deserved. The best action you can take to make him disappear is to block every single one of his attempts, set your professional profile to private if necessary, and treat his attempts as the spam they are. Your silence and continued success are the ultimate answer to his pathetic attempts to rewrite history.
Do you agree with what I did? I've been talking to a guy for a long time, and today he wanted to hook up with me behind the university. I told him no, not there. What I was really expecting was for him to ask me out somewhere, like a proper date. After so many days of conversation, he could have invited me out. He knows I'm more of a homebody, but I'm not totally closed off, and I reciprocate all his flirts. Anyway, despite wanting that kiss, I felt a little uneasy. I felt like I was just some random girl you kiss in an alley. Do you think I was silly? Should I have just followed the impulse? Would that have had a chance to turn into a relationship and not just something casual? Because I don't want casual. You made the right decision, and you were not silly at all. What you experienced is a crucial distinction in modern dating, the difference between a low-effort invitation and a high-value investment. A man who values you and sees potential for a serious relationship understands that a first kiss is a moment deserving of respect, privacy, and effort. Suggesting a quick hookup behind the college is a classic low-effort move. It signals convenience, not commitment. It treats the moment as a transaction to be rushed, not an experience to be built upon. Your feeling of being just some random girl you kiss in an alley was your instinct protecting your self-worth. You're essentially asking, does a relationship start in the equivalent of an alley? While some casual flings might, a strong, meaningful connection rarely begins by prioritizing low effort and secrecy over a planned date. Your actions set a vital boundary. My time and my attention are valuable, and if you want access to them, you must invest effort. Never sacrifice your long-term goal a serious relationship, for a short-term impulse, a kiss. Your decision sent a clear message about your standards. If he is interested in something real, he will quickly pivot and ask you out on a proper date. If he disappears, you saved yourself from a casual situation you didn't want. Your standards are not obstacles. They are the filter for the relationship quality you deserve.
Girlfriend never texts me first, but complains if I stop. I'm M25, she's F31. In our 1 year and 4 months together, my girlfriend only replies to the messages I send, whether it's a good morning or a good night. Sometimes I send a sticker or a picture in the morning before work, a voice note. I try to personalize the message, but she only texts me when she has a problem. I've talked to her about it, and she says her relationships have always been like this, and that I'm doing the same thing her ex-boyfriends used to do. I tried to believe that I could keep texting and not mind if she didn't initiate, but time is showing me that it does bother me. I brought it up again, and once more I got a similar response, saying she won't text because she's not used to it. I remember one time I went 2 days without texting her, and she quickly started complaining and demanding to know why. This is my first serious relationship, and I don't know if my behavior is normal or hers. You are not being silly, nor are you being overly demanding. Your desire for reciprocity is absolutely normal and healthy for any serious relationship. The issue you're describing isn't about how many texts are sent, but about the symmetry of effort and the distribution of emotional labor in the relationship. The emotional labor trap. You are doing all the maintenance work for the relationship, which includes the effort to initiate, personalize, and sustain daily communication. She, in turn, is treating you like a convenience resource that should always be active, like an appliance she only uses when she needs it. The demand effect, the fact that she only complains when you stop texting, is proof that she doesn't value the act of connection itself, but rather the effect your absence has on her. When you stop texting, she loses the comfort and validation you provide, and the complaint is an attempt to restore her supply of attention, not to demonstrate that she misses you as a partner. The X excuse, the phrase, "my relationships have always been like this," is not an excuse. It's a declaration to resistance to change. She is communicating that she is accustomed to outsourcing the communication effort, and by saying you are doing the same as the ex is, she is using a reverse guilt tactic to discourage you from asking for healthier behavior. What you need to understand: your behavior of wanting a partner who invests and initiates contact is perfectly normal for someone seeking a real partnership. Her behavior, demanding attention she is unwilling to give, is common but toxic to a balanced relationship. Instead of focusing on the number of texts, focus on her unwillingness to contribute. You need a partner, not an emotional spectator. For your conclusion, you need clarity. The next step is not to negotiate texts per day, but to ask her, calmly and directly, if I am important to you, why does the responsibility of initiating the daily connection always fall on me? If you are unwilling to invest the same effort I do, how do you expect me to handle this asymmetry? This question shifts the focus from the behavior, texting, to the commitment, the effort in the partnership. This story serves as an excellent segue into our next topic. Communication is everything. If you have ever felt undervalued by a partner who didn't put in the effort, share your experience in the comments. Hit like if you understand the pain of unrewarded emotional labor, and subscribe for more real-life relationship dilemmas and insights. I achieved everything I wanted, except a husband. I've always been intensely focused on my career. Today, I hold 3 degrees, several professional certifications, and I was always the top student, the exemplary daughter, the one who makes everyone proud. But honestly, today, I just want to be married, saddled in my cozy home with my husband. I'm 27, and when this time of night hits, my mind races. I picture our little things, the shared goals we accomplished, sleeping in my favorite pajamas cuddled up with my beloved. And the thought of the hour is, I want a husband. I want someone to listen to my rants, to laugh with me, to truly love me, and to build a family. What a life. Your story resonates with the experience of countless successful women in our generation.
particularly those who embraced the American dream of professional achievement. You climbed the ladder of individual realization, only to find a crucial truth. Human life is not just a checklist of accomplishments. What you are feeling is not a lack of focus. It is the awakening of a profound human need for connection and belonging. It is your nature telling you that career success, while glorious and well-deserved, is incomplete without life partnership. The common mistake people make is believing that the mindset that conquers the career is the same one that conquers the marriage. In your career, you define a goal, the JD, the MBA, create a plan, study, network, and use unilateral effort to achieve it. It's a competition against the market. In a relationship, the goal is finding the right partner, not conquering them. You must shift from competitive mode to collaborative mode. A successful marriage is a shared project that cannot be achieved by unilateral effort. It requires the mutual selection of a high-quality partner. Your challenge is not your age or your success. It is the need to recalibrate your approach. The same focus and intention you dedicated to your degrees must now be directed toward creating emotional space in your life and recognizing the right partner when he shows up. You are not looking for a trophy to place on the shelf next to your degrees. You are looking for an accomplice, someone who appreciates your brilliance in the boardroom, but who loves your vulnerability at night, when the titles and certifications fade away, and you are simply two people building a life. The life you envision, the house, the goals, the cozy moments, is waiting for you, but it requires partnership, not perfection. This brings us to the end of today's deep dive into the dilemmas of love. Whether you're struggling with work-life balance, communication gaps, or a partner's lack of effort, remember, your standards are not obstacles, they are your filters. If you, like our final storyteller, have achieved your professional goals but are still searching for your person, type "me too" in the comments. Share your best advice for balancing success with seeking love. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next relationship breakthrough.